Do you guys know the myth of Narcissus?
Wasn't he looking at his own reflection in like a pool of water?
Yes.
And he thought, oh, how great this is.
Yeah.
But that's so he thought he was really great. But the rest of it I don't remember. I just remember that.
Yeah, well, and that is basically all you hear. That a narcissist is somebody that just thinks they're God's gift, which can happen, like if you have a grandiose narcissist, but if you heard of a covert narcissist?
That's what my husband was.
Yeah, and I mean, they do way worse damage because you don't have the tools for necessarily identifying it. What gets lost in this interpretation, a lot of people think a narcissist, that they have all this self-esteem, when if you've been with like a covert narcissist, they can be very self-deprecating. You know, they can talk very poorly about themselves and actually display a lot of low self-esteem. So it will be confusing to a victim like, well, he can't be a narcissist because he hates himself. When the truth is all narcissists actually hate themselves. It's just how good they are at covering it up. So it's not about so much they just adore who they are, that they think they're so great. It's about them needing to believe that they are great, and they will go to all costs to avoid any evidence to the contrary that might force them to look at something. The self-reproach feature of their personality is so bogged down with shame that they don't want to go there. Therefore, they're transfixed on their interpretation of events and their perception of reality. Their worldview is the world. That is the crux of a narcissist. The irony of the narcissist is like, even though it's based on this guy looking at himself, that they will do anything to not truly look at themselves, which is, that's ironic, right? So we already kind of talked about this stuff. These are some of the myths that people have about narcissism. That they have confidence. Yeah, they have confidence. Yeah. Did you know? I just found out the word con man comes from the word confidence, because it takes a lot of confidence to pull off a con. And so when you see somebody with a lot of confidence, I thought, oh, they have high self-esteem. No. And somebody with a lot of confidence, a big ego, and no self-esteem, that is a dangerous combination. But I didn't know the difference. But yeah, like the narcissist self-confidence is all about the external. Like they like you because of how you make them feel. They like you because of how you make them look. It's a reflection on them. Yeah, like I got this great thing. They're very object-oriented. They like things because that's all they live in is objects. Everything's an object, and we're an object. And so
trophy wife.
Yeah, exactly. They all want the trophy wife. Yeah.
So these things aren't true.
Yeah, that they have high self-esteem. No, they do not. They have no self-esteem most of the time. They have very low self-esteem, but they can present as having a lot of confidence. Somebody can have a lot of confidence and a lot of self-esteem, but just because somebody has a lot of confidence does not mean they have a lot of self-esteem. And that's been a really helpful realization, in helping kind of dissect what we're really looking at, what we're dealing with these types of people. A lot of their confidence comes from evaluating how stupid we are, like how much they can get away with, what they can get from us, So this brings to the next thing, like they only think about themselves. I mean, they think about what they can get for themselves. Like, what's in it for me is like a narcissist. Like that's something they will say out loud. Like, have you ever heard of your narcissist say that? What's in it for me? Have you? Yeah, okay.
Oh,
yeah, like, I've never really said that. I mean, maybe if we're doing a business deal or something, but everything's a business deal for them. What can they get? And here's another one, all people who act narcissistic are narcissists. That's not true. People can be narcissistic a lot of times. Well, it's a defense mechanism.
I think I have narcissistic tendencies.
Of course.
Big time.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make me a narcissist.
Right.
Okay, so somebody can have the tendencies, but not full-blown narcissistic personality disorder.
Exactly.
That's what I think.
Right.
Myself.
Right. And like I get into arguments where somebody is in their defense mechanisms, and they will project, and they will deflect, and they will jump, they'll do word salad and things. But they wouldn't get a clinical diagnosis, so this is the clinical definition from the American Psychiatric Association's Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. So you have to have at least 5 of these things according to them. The need for excessive admiration, a sense of entitlement, I'm a grandiose sense of self-importance. I don't know what with a covert narcissist, I think the lack of empathy, interpersonally exploitive behavior, envy of others.
I'm thinking he might, because the one thing is he was preoccupied with being powerful, and I'm gonna be this, and I'm gonna be that, and I'm gonna do all these wonderful things.
Yeah.
You know, the one, and the other was he hid. I didn't know he had no self-esteem because he was so good at covering up the fact that he was so confident.
Yeah.
You know, and he was always a god to everybody.
Wow.
He was always like, oh, I'm the savior, I'm gonna help you.
Oh.
It was all the lowlifes in the world.
Oh yeah, they love to
Yeah.
be the heroes to losers.
That's
yeah,
what
they're
it
the king of
was.
fools. Like God
Yeah.
bless them.
But he hid his stuff.
Being a savior, being a rescuer is a great source of narcissistic supply. And inherent to that is this like, I'm better than them. Like, look at these poor people, you know, that makes them feel good to be able to give to these lessers.
That's what they do too, so they can tell them what they've done.
Of course, yeah. Look at what a good person I am.
The lack of empathy was, he acted like he had empathy.
Right. And
You
Sam
know-
Backman, I don't know if you know who Professor Sam Backman is. He's been one of the best resources I've ever had on narcissism. He's a narcissist. And he said, we have empathy. It's a cold empathy. So they can read you. They know how you're feeling. I don't know with your narcissist if you notice the hypervigilance. They are very attuned to what's going on with you. Just the way they react to it, how they respond to it is just completely inhumane in a lot of cases.
So, if a narcissist was listening to this, would they recognize themselves?
Maybe, I don't know. In psychology, they have narcissism over here in the cluster B personality types. So they are making a distinction of narcissistic personality disorder from what they have as a histrionic cluster B personality disorder, which is attention seeker, flamboyant, provocative. I don't know about you, but my narcissist was all of those things.
I have a nephew that's like that.
Yeah.
What's flamboyant?
Flamboyant is like how I would describe it as just kind of this like larger than life, just kind of like, oh, we're, down to a cloud, like, and just kind of being provocative, a rule breaker, aggressive, abusive, that's under antisocial. But my narcissists were above the rules. Like they were just too cool for school. They were rebellious. And then they put stuff like clingy, indecisive, fierce criticism, overly serious, all in cluster C.
All of that? Can they be all from all these?
I mean, yeah, and they are, and that's the thing. That's why psychology is like a joke to me. And that, like my professor, when I took clinical, was just a few years ago. I was like, what are we doing here? Like we're making these distinctions. They're not real. They really aren't. And as the field progresses into reality, what will end up happening is they all will just be kind of grouped under a trauma response, like a complex CPSD type thing. But I've met narcissists that are so delusional and so self-contained that they become schizophrenic. Like I had a guy accuse me of putting a hex on his chickens. And he wins but they always have this idea, that like the world's out to get them, everybody's gonna come get them, everybody wants what they have, they've got, they have these invisible enemies. They're definitely out of their minds. So these are the myths of the narcissist. Everybody is the same as them. They really believe that.
They do?
Yeah.
Because they always act like they love everyone.
Well, I mean, they are the most exceptional. They are the only real people. But in general, they will do bad things to you because in their mind, you're going to do the same thing to them.
Exactly.
So they're kind of doing it.
They do.
Yeah, they got to beat you to the punch.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly.
And write you a note to tell you that's what they did. I'm going to do this because I know you're going to do it to me. It wasn't even on the menu.
Right. Yeah, but that's how they legitimize what they're doing. Yeah. So this thing of like can't trust anybody, they don't trust people because they know what it would let them get away with. Like so they are not going to trust people because they think everybody is like them. Really, like we're just maybe not courageous enough to really be. I mean, the amount of delusions that people have, they run deep. Another myth, conflict resolution. They don't believe in it. They do not believe if you're trying to like address an issue that you legitimately want to resolve conflict. Like, have you heard this? You're bringing this up to start a fight with me. Because narcissism is like that power thing, they love that hierarchical thing. They only understand things in that dynamic. Either you're on top or they're on top, you know?
Well, that would make sense with my boss that I had, because I could never quite put her into a category. I just knew it was dangerous and not good.
Yeah.
And I did that for about 5 or 6 years, but I had to disengage from that.
Yeah. Yeah, and like for me, I was raised in an narcissistically abusive household. So then you will like continue to be in those dynamics. Like I had multiple narcissistic bosses, but I didn't realize, you know, that's what it was. Like one of my bosses, she just talked crap about every single person that walked out of the building as soon as they walked out. And I was like, this is toxic, you know, but like that's what a narcissist will do.
So if you're raised in a narcissistic home, can it make you narcissist?
Of course. And just the trauma. I was pretty narcissistic in my 20s, and I didn't realize that. I wasn't like this exploitative, like the narcissistically abusive relationship. They're exploiting other people's weaknesses. They're tear collectors. But I was more of like the borderline depressive. You know, I had a lot of breakdowns. I had a lot of suicidality. But I was very self-absorbed, you know, and if I had a bug up my butt, I felt like the world should stop for me, you know. I didn't take ownership of my own actions and reactions. See how I was kind of creating scenarios to extract negative situations because I thrived off of that, you know. Yeah.
So is it something that can be fixed if you're aware of it?
Of course. Of course, yeah, that's something they say. Another thing about the personality disorders, they say, well, they're permanent, they're pervasive, they're untreatable, they're unhealable. And that's a lie. It is a lie. Oh, another myth, their experience of reality is reality. This is what they believe. At its core, that is what narcissism is. So we're all capable of that to some degree all the time. I mean, I've been a meditator for over a decade, and what do they say about, you know, meditation? Be in the present, right? Be present. Be present to how you feel, be present to what's around you, be present to the people around you. They can't do that. They can't be present. Solipsists, that's what narcissists aren't. Solipsism is sometimes expressed as the view that I am the only mind which exists. My mental states are the only mental states. Because they live in this like kind of a fabricated reality, they don't have that consistent consciousness, like streaming of experience. So yeah, at its core, narcissism is a delusional disorder. It's their world and we're just here to play a role. It's like Elmo's world. And it's like la la la, la la la, Elmo's world in hell. Like, their world, their inner world is a total shit show. So what happens in a narcissistically abusive relationship? That tension you experience is them working to make their worldview yours. If they can convert other people to their cult, then it makes it real. So they will work hand over fist to make their worldview, their ideas about you and everyone true. We can learn things about manifestation from narcissists because they are very good at creating the reality that they see. They will make the things, their worst fears, they will make happen. They want that because that's real to them. These dark things, like good people, happy people, loving people, honest people, those are myths to them. I know you're having an argument with a narcissist when you are fighting over things such as like whether or not something they did or said actually happened, right? You will experience these things with them. They will take no ownership of reality. Like they are disconnecting you from your knowing of what is true. Over-explaining what you meant by something you said or did. They love to twist things to meet their ideas about what you meant, where you're really coming from. In the narcissistically abusive relationship, if they are threatened by your goodness, they will work to make a lie out of the goodness in you. If they are threatened by your self-esteem, they will work overtime to make a lie out of your lovableness. And that is the pure injury of the narcissistically abusive relationship, is that they are working to enforce this idea that you don't deserve to be loved. So how do they do it, right? Like how do narcissists get away with what they're doing? They are incredible actors. Narcissists are the original artificial intelligent bots. Their entire existence is a simulation of sorts. I didn't know until recently, the love bomb isn't always just they're highly complimentary to you, it's that they make you think you are the most incredibly special, unique person they have ever met. You are irreplaceable and they need you. That element of the love bomb is what helps get them away with a lot of things in the future, because it's like, well, I'm so special to them, I can't leave them. They need me, you know? And it kind of feeds into our own codependency, kind of taking responsibility beyond what we should for other people. But we've all heard about the gaslight, right?
Yeah, I never understood.
Right.
They called it gaslighting. When I think of gaslight, I think of Victorian era England with the gas lamps. And the most, I'm like,
Wasn't like a
So I couldn't
where
really-
they like turn off the lamp
Yeah.
and they're like,
oh, the
oh.
old movie.
Yeah.
Then there's another
Well,
one.
that's such an Lansbury.
Gaslight is a movie that describes a man manipulating a woman's environment while lying to her about what he's doing. He kept turning down the light and totally lying to her. He also took some stuff.
And then they like put her in the sideboard, right?
Oh, yes. Is that what happens? I mean, maybe like because she's.
She like convinces like that she's crazy and she gives her a sideboard.
Oh yeah, that's like a narcissist's wet dream. Like, let me make you believe you're the crazy one. That worked for me for like 40 years. I was surrounded by people telling me that I was crazy. Yeah, that was not good for my mental well-being, especially because I realized I was the only adult in the room. Like that, there's nothing is more crazy making than to be around a bunch of crazy people telling you you're the crazy one. that is, yeah, it will make anything that go mad. But I mean, that's a good thing I meditated. Gaslight is lying about manipulation. So this word gaslight, it's another one of these buzzwords. We're all the time trying to manipulate how people perceive us. We're trying to have control over that. That's not necessarily a gaslight, right? Like if I put on makeup one day and look really one way and then another day I'm not gaslighting you necessarily. It's what it's doing to the recipient. When somebody is trying to pull you out of your own intuition, your own like relationship with reality, that's the abuse. When they're talking you down and talking you out of that. It causes us to gaslight ourselves, and that's the abuse. And, you know, narcissists can't help but want to do that to you because they're doing it to themselves every day, all day. That's their life.
I think it's hilarious that they think you're so stupid that you don't know.
In what way? No,
It's
what?
like when you're arguing with them and they're like trying to lay this crap on you and you're like, you know. But to them, they think that you're so dumb that you don't, you're gonna believe their crap.
Well, I mean, that's they're trying to convert you. They definitely want to take over your mind. Like,
Yeah.
how dare you have an idea about reality that's outlined in theirs?
Or argue with you
I
about
think it's important to call them out when they do.
Oh, I do.
Yeah, you can call them out. Definitely will be an enemy, and that's something that I really took for granted how vindictive they are, and that they keep score. They remember things. It's like, what? How did you remember thinking about that? I didn't even know you heard me when I said that, but they'll bring it up later. It's like, wow, yeah. So yeah, you can. This is another crazy making scheme, the projective identification, right? Intimate partnerships give humans the unique opportunity to interact with their mirrored and shadow self. This can be an incredibly enriching learning experience for both parties when each is able to listen to and accept the critiques from their partner. In a narcissistically abusive relationship, this exchange is stonewalled by the narcissist's inability to objectively examine themselves due to their core of extreme shame. False accusations put the victim on the defense, taking the focus off the abuser and undermine legitimate accusations from the victim. Right, narcissists. The thing the narcissist hates about themselves, right there it is right there. Your face. They stick that thing on your face and then, oh man, look how terrible you are. I've been accused of such terrible things. My ex thought he needed anger management, but I was like, how could you not be angry with the ideas you have about me and what you think I think about you? Those are terrible things to say, that I would want you to suffer, that I want you to fail, that I'm just using you for your body, that I'm just looking for like the next best guy with a lot of money or something like that. Like, yeah, if you tell yourself those things, yeah, you will be pissed. And we all can fall prey to be, projecting onto other people. I mean, you have some like dark parts of yourself, you're gonna wanna put it somewhere else because, you know, not everybody enjoys the process of self-exploration. Reactive abuse, if you heard about that, that's like making that person think they're crazy. That's really what they want. So they'll, you know, put all these projections onto you. You don't love me, you don't care about me, you're using me, you're a liar, you're cheating on me, right? They'll do all these things. You'll try and get in a conversation about that, defending yourself, which they love that, like getting you off your front foot or whatever, you know, putting you off into this kind of like, what? You know, like taking you out of sense making into this world of where we're now arguing hypothetical fantasy ideas and just baseless accusations. If you react, if you yell at them, if you lose your temper, if you do anything in response, they will hyper focus. So, you know, they have all these projections, they have all these, you know, crazy making behaviors, right? They keep hitting you with it, you're, you know, attacking your peace of mind with it. So now you have an out of character reaction. And they're over here, look how crazy you are.
They'll turn it on you.
Yeah, oh my gosh, you need to calm down. You have some anger issues. Like, look at you, like, whoa, settle down. Just the whole reality of it, you're just like, what the hell? Like, it's a circus. It will make a sane man mad. And then they will focus on that, right? Because they need to, and they will never forget it. They will hold on to it, right? Every grievance they have, they will hold on to it. They need to store it up because they're building a case to legitimize the discard.
What does that mean, NARCS are OGs?
Oh, NARCS are the OGs. They're the OG, the original gangsters of victim blaming. You know? Yeah. You know, what's a victim blamer? Like, it's your fault that this happened to you. You know, this is what a narcissist will say. I'm awesome.
Right, and then they also take credit for everything good that's happened to you as well.
Oh, well, I mean, if they do anything nice for you, I mean, they'll never let it go.
I think I had taken a class on communication, and it was called the Crucial Conversations. So it was not having tough conversations with people. So with this particular loss, what I've read, just Googling it, what to do, what they said to do in Crucial Conversations class, and what I really wanted to do in my heart, and the three things didn't go together.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the thing about narcissists is like they feed off that negative energy. So like, if they can get you to be upset, it's like you will sketch it on their face. Have you ever seen that when you're in an argument?
They smirk.
Yeah, they smirk. They're like, thank you very much. Yeah. Yeah, it is sick. It is pure evil.
I saw this with this manager because I would get mad about something, and she would go, "Oh, let me help you. You have." She didn't use the term anger management.
She would criticize you?
Yeah, she would say, she didn't use that term, but she would say, you can't handle your, you know, we just need to help you manage your stress. Your other peers are able to get their work done.
Wow.
Yeah, I have the most units.
Yeah, these little passive aggressive, yeah. She was making a little field day out of you, just you were fodder for her.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm very detail oriented, so I would bullet point everything.
But that's a lot like how my mother was, with these really offhanded type of comments all the time, just like chipping away at my reality. And like, it's like, do you really want to have to confront her on how full she is when she's like saying these things? It's like, okay, fine, like I'll just take your help, but like your B word for sure. That's.
Thank you for I mean, I know you guys, you know, you don't know the details and stuff, and I have to be careful what I say, but just listening to you is validating me already.
Good. That makes me feel so good. And you know,
that's what happened. And then she would say, she would do the blaming, because she would say, you know, this happened because you did this. You created this problem. Like, I just gave you an idea. I just basically bailed your butt out to give you an idea of how to fix this.
Yeah.
And she came back, and she actually put that in writing. So then I had to get a copy of the policy and more bullet points, because I know when I'm talking with human resources or maybe some peers, unless they understand this, you can't say I'm dealing with a psychopath narcissist.
Right.
You have to just be as objective as you can, and I felt like that, it just wasn't, we did as a team the best we could. We did address things appropriately, with the
This wasn't about facts. This was about, she saw you as like prime meat to extract this power thing from, like, what a freak. I'm so sorry that you loved her. I'm glad you got away from her.
Well,
but it's an abusive relationship.
It's an abusive relationship.
And she had that power over you. That's,
and this happened during the COVID pandemic, and that was why that was so bad. I could handle it before then, but it's because she had different people she picked on first.
Yeah.
I felt that, my turn was coming, but I thought, I can handle a lot of pressure, and I felt really good about what I did and the self-management techniques I learned, but it was getting to the point where this wasn't gonna go well, and I didn't wanna.
Well, in the future, having an understanding of what you're dealing with, you can get a sense of humor about it, and then it's kind of like, it can be really funny, because these people are freaking crazy, like, they're so weird, and like, they're dumb. Yeah, to a narcissist, all the world's a stage, and on the stage, they are always the victim. They cannot admit fault, because remember, we're all secretly like them. If they give us vulnerable truth, if they admit they're wrong, then we can use it against them later, and that's exactly what they do to their victims. Narcissists play the victim because they want to be rescued. If they have to make up false stories and make you the bad guy to get the only form of love they know from other people in their life, then so be it. We're just here to play a role in Elmo's help. And in the narcissist world, you can only be three things: a rescuer, a persecutor, or a victim. They like the things that you give them, but they have multiple sources. You're not the only one. Yeah, they're constantly getting attention, admiration, affection, sympathy from other people.
Do they have friends? Do they have genuine friends?
I mean, they don't know how to be a real friend. A lot of these guys survive because they do have a crew of what they're called flying monkeys, sympathizers on the outside, which is why they talk so much crap about us, because they need that to validate because they do feel like a victim. Us bringing our problems to them, I mean, we're basically pouring salt on a bleeding, like, dying child, right? They don't have tools for it. They're just like, why were you ruining the party? It's like, that's so weird here. But the friendships, they burn bridges everywhere. They can't maintain relationships. I guess what they look for is like a lot of parenting from people. Oh yeah.
Can two narcissists have a relationship with each other?
I think that they're like, that's a perfect relationship.
Oh, I have a nephew and his concubine. I'm telling you, the two of them, it's unbelievable what you see. They're so toxic, and I'm watching the whole thing go,
Yeah.
because it's ugly. It's so ugly. They're both they're enablers, and they just hate each other, and they love each other, and their kids are a mess. And it's horrible. They're just toxic.
Do they act like they've been through so much and they're like, oh, I've heard this happen to me, and you feel bad for them?
Oh yeah, the compassion trap is actually one of the tools that gets us into these relationships. They feed off our mothering instinct, and they use those sob stories to pull you in to making excuses for them. They will use that sob story, that compassion trap, right? Compassion trap. And I had always felt like I was so close to my ex, because he would show me these very, very, very vulnerable, weak, broken, terribly sad parts of himself. And I thought, wow, I really mattered to him that he's sharing this with me.
That he feels comfortable, that he opened up.
Yeah, that we're really close. Come to find out, with a narcissist, that borderline core of the broken child, they can hate that part of themselves. So if you are bringing that out in them, you are actually an enemy. They use people as emotional tampons. Them dumping all that stuff on you, it's like, okay, I just dumped all this terrible stuff about myself onto this person, and I can just start a new day tomorrow. They're all, the narcissist is the king of, it's a new day, it's a new me, it's a new life. Every day is a new day. Oh, let's start fresh, keep it positive. That was really hard to realize and understand. Because they make you think that you're so close to them because they're sharing, and it's so heart-wrenching to see somebody break down like that. normal person will feel a great amount of compassion and concern for somebody that's showing them that, that, it sounds like you relate to that experience of that.
That's so true.
Yeah. It's so wrong. I'm sorry that you went through it, I'm sorry that it happened. It's really so mean. Yeah, it really is. The narcissist's favorite shape is the triangle. Have you ever been triangulated by narcissists?
That makes sense to what I was saying. It's just when you're in that and you are the victim.
Yeah.
It is crazy making is the best word that I can describe
It is. It will make a sane man mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to make a decision inside. How did I want to be? What did I want to do with this particular person and how long did I want to do this?
Yeah.
Because I didn't think this was going to go well, because it wasn't really about the issues that they felt were the issues.
Yeah.
It's about the game.
Yeah. They live in this triangle. So yeah, did you ever hear your narcissist say you're playing the victim?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You're playing the victim, because that's what they do. They play the victim. They'll go outside of the relationship, play the victim. I was such a terrible person in it. So they have all these outside rescuers. Oh my gosh, they're so bad. So then he could come back to the relationship and persecute me more.
My ex did all that.
He hid it.
Really well. I mean, I really didn't know. I know he thought that, but I
Right.
never knew it. He would tell other people, that I was a horrible, wicked person. And all these things about me that wasn't true.
Yeah.
And he would come home and we would not see it. I didn't even know it.
Well, don't they talk bad about everyone?
They do, in general, yeah, because they're better than everybody else. And toxic people will use gossip as like a bonding thing. So it's like if we have a mutual enemy, or if I can commiserate, talking about somebody, then it's like we're close now. We've shared this intimate, secret world. It's very superficial, very low vibe. They need to triangulate. That just speaks to how powerful we were, that they needed to get all these recruits to bolster up their point of view, because they knew they were full of shit.
Exactly.
So they, yeah. So it speaks to how strong we were in our resolve. But still,
But
it's
you don't
still
think
so
you are.
hurtful in the betrayal.
You start to question, because you start to question
Yeah,
yourself, like maybe I shouldn't have done this,
And
I
I
made
think-
her mad and da-da-da.
I couldn't understand, like, my ex's family really hates me, and then I realized once he was in prison, he must have told, because he would beat himself in the head,
Oh,
and so there's some pictures of blood all over him. He must have said that I did those things. He must have really been saying that I was physically violent towards him.
And they said they're pretty good at lying too.
Lying.
That's what they
They're
do.
not talking, yeah, they're not. And the accusations, I realized he wanted me to rescue him, because when you're raised in a very abusive household, the only time you really get affection, attention is after you've been abused, when your abuser is going to come back and save the day, right, and say sorry. And so these love bombs is like this, they are stuck in this trauma triangle. Like, it's a sad world that I'm going in.
Is that why they leave and then keep coming back?
Leave you.
Like they'll hurt you and then they'll leave and then they come back and oh, I'm sorry, and then
That's kind of discouraging, I think.
I mean, abandon you when they hurt you, they'll abandon you because they want you to suffer for.
isn't it kind of yoga? You're there in their life, you're out of their life, you're in their life, you're out of their life.
They are now.
Yeah.
They'll always want to be in control of the dynamic. Apparently, they will resist intimacy. So if they start to kind of feel that happening, they'll have to leave. But in an argument with the narcissist, I know my narcissist would always just, even if they didn't physically leave, they would just shut down. They don't have time for your feelings. That's just, so who cares, So they think if you're causing an argument, you just wanna put them down and make them feel bad about themselves. You're trying to claim the dominance position in the relationship. How dare you? I'll show you who's in charge. I'm out of here. Good luck, And they will take time away to let you kind of soak in, did you really want to do that? Did you really want to confront me? And also, if they did something wrong, to scare you, to trigger your abandonment anxiety, and to remind you that they're in control of this relationship. And hopefully that you'll forget everything that they did wrong, because they'll probably, if you're confronting them about something they did wrong and they abandon you for a while, it's like,
They want you to forget about it.
yeah, they want to, they think just with enough time, it's not gonna be that big of an issue what I did. And I've triggered your abandonment so bad, you're not gonna wanna hurt me, you're not gonna wanna make me mad, because I'll just abandon you again. Narcissists are not capable of real love. They have no framework for understanding or receiving our love. Deep down, narcissists feel so terribly about themselves. Even though they'll idealize you when you first meet, they will inevitably get to proving how terrible you are to themselves, their friends, and family. And if they're lucky, you. Because ultimately they think only an idiot could love an idiot like them. In the beginning, it's like, oh, look at this beautiful thing that I can have as my object, this trophy wife. And they then systematically go on to accumulate evidence to disprove that false, idealization, because any idealization actually is not sincere. Nobody is perfect. Over the course of the relationship, they will proceed to dump all of their negative emotions on you. After causing you multiple breakdowns, they will consider you weak and less than, and begin to view themselves as much more superior to you. They will degrade and abuse you all while calling themselves a victim and leave once they've ripped you from your pedestal to the place of the peasant they once felt like in your wake. Narcissistic abuse is aimed at an utter annihilation of their victim and can be described as a total takedown.
How does someone even become like that? That just doesn't, I can't process.
Well, I think it's a trauma response.
Is it just like,
Yeah. And we all have this ability to disconnect from reality. It can happen, like if somebody confronts you about something and you really care about it and you feel self-conscious about it, like it can put you into this like delirious state of like, well, that person, you'll start want to attack that person maybe, or you'll start beating yourself up or whatever. Like they're trying to manage their emotional experiences. Because when you see somebody else in pain, the human response would be to kind of be there for them, but you have to share in it with them in order to actually be present, right, to their pain. And a lot of people don't have a good relationship with their own emotions. So here, you're trying to basically make them feel bad when you're having bad feelings, and they don't want anything to do with those vulnerable emotions. They want to be in control of the emotional state they have, and so they're very resentful of that. And they will see it like, oh, okay, she's weak. Like, if I'm crying or if I have a problem in my life, okay, well, here's a soft spot I can use in the future, against them. Like me, my estrangement with my son was my ex is one of his favorite weapons, psychological, emotional weapons against me.
And they find with your weapons. Anything you tell them at some point is a weapon.
Yeah. And these things that really matter to you.
But at the same time, I think they really do sometimes feel emotion. They feel
of course.
They feel that vulnerability. They feel it, but it's not for very long. It's not real. It's not to stay like it would with a normal person. But they do feel it. You just can't trust it because it's not going to stay very well.
I think that they have they don't have, I think it's like object permanence. Where
Yeah,
they,
that's what I was talking about.
If they they're find you in person, once you leave, they change up.
Yeah. Out of sight, out of
How does
mind.
that work out?
Like often object permanence is it's like the children, knowing that something's there, but it's really not, because it's never developed.
Yeah, do you listen to Sam Backman? Because he talks about that. How do you know about object
I
permanence?
took a child.
Oh, incredible, exactly. So narcissists are stuck at that age of 4 years old where you're supposed to be able to leave mommy and then come back. You have that safe base of a mommy. And so that helps them to go and explore, and then they come back. They don't have a safe mommy, so they don't have that sense of security. And this is where all these personality disorders blend together. when you are out of sight of the narcissist, you really don't exist. So like they can't keep that like what's going on in that time. You know, like you'll tell them in the morning, I'm going to this thing, that thing, that thing. Then you'll talk to them at night, they'll be like, what did you do today? Like as a mother, you know, you always have that like, my child is here, my child is there, I know what I'm doing, you know. We have this kind of constant virtual monitoring of the other person. They're still alive, they're still living, and they're doing things this whole time. Like, they still exist even though you don't see them. And they're having experiences in the time in between. And they have a whole inner world, and they have all these other things happen. They can't see people like that. They don't see people like that.
Do they know they don't have that? Like, do they?
I don't know that it's something that they're conscious of.
Them, would they understand? Like, if you thought you told them, like, what?
I'm a real person. I remember saying that to them. I'm a real person. I exist. Like, again, they don't. They're resisting like truth, you know. So
Because
I don't know.
like,
It
told
varies.
them, like, that they are narcissists, like, why? And
The couple of guys I dated after learning what narcissism was, they admitted that they had it, you know.
You just don't really
And-
care.
But yeah, it's
Like, not really
like
affecting them.
so they can have, if it works for the dynamic, which is their power over you, and the thinking, like you
As long
taking
as
your
you're
guard down,
keeping-
whatever they need to say, whatever they need to do to get human where they need you, which is an energetic place that they are, you know, this we're getting into like the metaphysical, because this is a metaphysical thing that's happening. This is a demonic entity, and this is a total takeover of this is a demonic possession.
I thought my brother had gotten help. I was really shocked at what I've been seeing in the past year, which I didn't see
Does he
before.
does he drink? Does he have a substance thing?
No, not that I'm aware of. I've never known him to drink or use, drugs or anything like that. But what I'm seeing fits somebody who does. It's almost a change in personality.
Well, I mean, ultimately, our society values narcissism. It values these external signs of value and worth and power and dominance. These are virtues of our society. So for a man to be narcissistic, he just thinks he's got good boundaries, and he doesn't put up with anybody's crap.
That's
it's like,
basically almost exactly what he says. He's even got a statement on his wall like that, sticky note kind of things with all these positive things. And
I just channeled your brother.
You did. You just channeled.
Because I'm also an oracle. Watch out, you guys. You're gonna have Elvis here in a second. So how do we avoid narcissistic relationships? Don't lower your standards to compensate for loneliness. First of all, narcissists won't pay you back. I've lowered my standards in every abusive relationship I've been in. They don't pay you back. They're not like, thank you for taking me out my worst, even though my exes say that. Thank you for being there for me. When I was going through these hard times, you were really down and you were with me. Like, yeah, no. They will not pay you back. So yeah, don't lower your standards to compensate because they won't pay you back for it anyways. And for them, no standard's the same as like lowering your standards, and they will keep asking you to do that the entire relationship, keep lowering your standards. That becomes the feature of the relationship. So we have to become addicted to protecting our boundaries. This is something we can learn from a narcissist because they're not going to really overextend themselves a lot of the time. I mean, unless you're dealing with an altruistic one, which they love the self-sacrifice thing, the supply they get from that. But they're pretty self-absorbed, and I can see for myself how I can put myself in the back and focus on whatever's needed from me, and they use that. They'll just keep asking. They won't really feel any indebtedness to that. But that's something we can learn from a narcissist, how to be a little bit more self-absorbed, kind of be more concerned about ourselves and what we are going to get out of situations. And we have to recognize the red flags. So yeah, if you've been with one narcissist, you've been with them all.
That's right.
So noticing their patterns early before you have any type of intimacy with them can save your life. Literally can save your life. Oh, by the way, like ignoring the red flags, you will not learn to pole dance, okay? So it's like, don't ignore the red flags, right? Okay. And these are things that you will see in the first couple of weeks. I mean, these are things like, they're overly complimentary of you. Emotionally manipulative people will work to feed your ego, go above and beyond in order to gain power and prominence as quickly as possible. If they have a sob story. Empaths and considerate people often get sucked into feeling sorry for people that will inevitably use their compassion against them.
Big time, that's number one.
It really is.
I had a situation where I ran into him and his new wife, which is now his ex-wife, in a restaurant, and I so bad wanted to walk up to her. If I would have known she was there, but long story. But anyway, I didn't know they were even in there. But I was so like, if I would have saw her, I wanted so bad to walk up and shake her and say, what are you doing? You know, and
Yeah.
they won't listen to you.
No.
Because they have their own.
Because they're special.
Hello.
They're the special
Exactly.
ones. You were the evil
He must have
one.
been the one with the problem.
You were the problem. Yeah.
But-
She'll get it eventually.
Oh, she did.
Yeah.
She sends me a message and she's like, he's such a freaking narcissist. And he's
Right.
this and he's that and he's the other thing. And I'm just like, you know.
Yeah, I don't even
was
want to
like-
even give them like word. I'm just like, they're a freaking loser retard.
Yeah.
Like they're emotional midgets and they're taking
Oh.
no responsibility for themselves.
And I said to her, well, did he tell you what he did to me? She said, yes. And I said, and he played victim? And she said, yes. I says, how stupid are you? I says, this is a red
But
flag.
because
I didn't say
they're not
it's
coming to
stupid,
talks.
right?
Like they're not
The
trying
red
to.
flag, right there, tells you, don't mess yourself up with somebody who's left you, who's playing victim to something and said, who takes everything in your world and then says, oh, she was mean to me.
Well, because they're such good actors, they're so good at simulating this like romantic idea about what a relationship is.
Yeah.
And, you know, now you should know that those are red flags if somebody is moving too fast at the beginning. If they're really beefing you up as being so important and really wanting to make themselves important in your life, they're not going to respect your boundaries.
Do they have like a certain like category of victims, like?
That I don't think so.
Spot you, you're an obvious.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They.
I've been working very.
I think these freaks cast in
Yeah, if you're
that
new
pretty freaking regularly. I mean, they're predators by nature. So, I mean, I don't think they do. What do you
You know,
say?
with me, I've noticed if they are single women and they've been single for a long time, and will look for someone who's been alone for a long time, is desperate for love, they'll find somebody who has no family. You'll find somebody who's up with the booties. He wants to be, so he can prey on those people, because they got no one else. And then he makes that person feel so special.
Right.
And there's no one else to check his behavior at the door, because there's no family there.
Right.
So he's able to get away with that.
I remember with my first narcissist, I was like, he's not even smart. Like, how is he pulling off these manipulations? First of all, manipulation is like a child's skill. Like they learn, oh, I throw my toy on the ground while I'm in my high chair, somebody will come and pick it up and get it right back. So that's not that sophisticated of a strategy, but it's demonic. These entities have lived multiple millennia on this planet studying the art of control and manipulation, and they're doing the devil's work is what they're doing when they're coming in with a duplicitous state of being. Like they know what they're doing. And if that's the key, if they're actually true predators, which a lot of times, I don't know the level of consciousness a lot of these people have. So the sob story thing, run. If they get you to feel sorry for them within the first 2 weeks, run. If they don't seem to listen,
What's the difference between some sort of like just opening up to someone? Like,
I mean,
that's just hard because like.
we are getting to know someone. There's so many other things to know about somebody. What do you really want to make known to somebody really when you first meet somebody? All I want to do is have fun with you. Like, let's do fun stuff. Like, let's enjoy each other's company. Like, we don't need to get into deep therapy sessions. So if they don't seem to listen, if you're hanging out with a guy and it's like, you can't really get any words in, and
They don't ask you questions. They don't ask you any questions. They
Yeah.
understand themselves as to you.
but they can even use questions.
I feel like that's the opposite for me, like all I was asked was questions.
Yeah, sometimes, they will ask a lot of questions, honestly.
Like questions that are like so deep that it's like.
Yeah, it's like you're in an interview, basically.
Yeah.
They're
It's
prying
like
into
question after
you.
question after question, and I'm just like,
Come to think of it,
Yeah, they would-
Narcissus did that.
Yeah. There's no hard and fast rules with these people, but
I feel like they want to know so much about you, so they can use it against you. So
Yeah, and if you open up to them,
like they pry you.
exactly, if you open to them, then now they've got more access to your energy, and they're more important to you because, wow, they really got me deep. Yeah, if you're talking to somebody you realize they don't really care about anything you have to say, they don't seem to listen. Narcissistic people often have a lot going on in their minds while listening to people talk, so they'll often gloss over serious details about you. If they're inconsistent with communication. Selfish people in relationships will not find it odd to request your attention multiple days in a row and then disappear for hours and days at a time and act like nothing happened. Because for them, nothing did. You were there when they wanted you, and that's all that matters. You catch them in any lie or observe them lying to or talking negatively about another person. This is why they try and make us feel like we're so special, because they will do these things in front of us, but they will try, like, because we're so special, they're not gonna do those things to us. Yeah, right, that is exactly what they do. So the keys to healing, we have to reject all the ways the narcissist attempted to turn us into that. So you have to have compassion for yourself. Victims, say what?
I do want to trust.
You have to trust.
I don't have that problem. I don't have that problem. Terrible. I even have problems with people that are having a conversation with me as to whether to tell you the truth or not.
I feel like I just put all my trust in them, and if they mess up, it's on them. It's not me.
Oh, you
It's
can
not-
trust them.
Yeah, I'll trust them, and if they mess up, then that's on them. I'm not doing anything.
What were you?
Oh, I just was thinking that with my brother, because this is kind of new and I'm still healing. I still love my brother, but I also know that I can set boundaries, that I don't have to actually say them out loud, but I can have the boundary there so he can't hurt me
Of course,
anymore.
that's all that it's
I
was.
can't fix him.
It's not that you
I
can't.
can't fix what's broken.
Right, it's not, it's like trusting people, it's knowing what you can trust them for. It's not this like carte blanche, I'm gonna put
Yeah.
all my, faith and all my eggs in your basket. It's like being an emotionally mature adult means that you know what you can count on, Like I can trust my narcissist to be inconsistent. That's one thing you can count on. He will be consistently inconsistent. Like so knowing what you can trust. But when you've had your mind kind of swirled around where nothing is making sense, it's disabling your ability to kind of make these higher level executive decisions about where to invest your energy. And we're used to having our energy sucked off of us, so it's a skill I'm learning it right now, 43.
I'm still friends with the narcissist, but I've learned so much about how he operates that I'm able to not get caught up in it. And I just say, I'm not getting caught up in your drama. He has no power over me. I took my power back.
Yeah.
I set a million boundaries, and
Right.
I'll immediately say, we're not talking about this, and I'm done. Because he's one of those that'll go on and on and on and on and on for like an hour, and you're like, really? The horse is dead. But
Yeah.
but I just learned, and I think it drives me crazy that I'm so self-sufficient,
Yeah.
independent, happy.
Yeah.
I can see him or not see him. I'm so fine. And
Right.
I think because he's so needy, like
Right.
everything is off the charts.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, I'll see you, don't worry about it, we'll be together. Because I know he's got a good side, but he is a victim of abuse, and that's,
He's a parasite.
yeah.
Yeah, he's an energy vampire.
Yes.
Well, see, my dad, because he's my dad, he's the only dad I have, he's 90, I'm the only family member that talks to him.
Yeah.
Because of all he's done to other people, they've
Right.
literally cut him out. And so because of my religious beliefs, I keep a connection there. But I do like what you talked about, because I learned how to keep the boundary there. Like
Yeah.
if I call him or he calls me, I do it on my cell phone so that I can work on other things, because he's gonna talk nonstop for an hour.
Right. I mean, that's the thing about narcissists can't be alone. If you spend enough time alone, you'll start to notice when people are kind of making you feel a way you don't want to feel. And it'll just
Yeah.
become, with time, it's like, yeah, you know what, I think I feel better alone than having their company. So I'm just going to go back to that. Having a good relationship with ourselves is the most important thing. Narcissists can't be alone because they can't tell it. They hate themselves. They don't enjoy their own company. They're actually miserable people, oh my gosh. So do the opposite of that. Like, have a great relationship with yourself.
Are they
Really
like jealous? Do they get jealous?
Oh yeah,
Like,
that is the
told
key.
that, like,
Yeah, so envious.
I was told that, like, I have like dating out that I had more friends of them, and that I actually went out and did fun things, and they were like mad. And they got mad at me because I had a life.
Because they're not the center of your life, and they don't want you to.
Yeah, and they would like,
Oh, yeah.
they would like.
Yeah, they want to be the arbiters of your everything, especially your happiness. Like,
Oh, yeah.
the Sam Backman, we're talking about how narcissists think that holidays are like a conspiracy against them. Like, you're trying to make me feel good because it's a holiday. How dare you? Because they're miserable people.
Is that what they hate birthdays?
They hate everything.
Oh.
Yeah, they hate
So my
birthdays,
birthday
they hate
was ruined
holidays.
by them.
They ruin all your holidays because they want to be the savior of your holiday. It's like, okay, you can't be happy because of this day. You're supposed to only be happy because of me. So if you're gonna be happy for this day, I'm gonna on your day, and then I'll like love bomb you, right, rescue you, and then you can be happy because I created it. It's mine. I'm in control of it. That's the only way you're allowed to be happy is because of me. I wasn't allowed to talk to people. I wasn't allowed to smile around other people. I wasn't allowed to make other people smile. So if you ever feel yourself being resentful, vengeful, envious, that's low level stuff. That's narcissistic. That's that entitlement thing, right? That's you not trusting God to be there and loving you, that you live in this harsh world where it's every man for themselves and you better take one up on somebody else because, that's all the
Better me than them, or better them than me kind of.
Yeah. It's based on this lack mentality that is totally not in line with God's plan for us. So we have to avoid resentment, envy, and vengeance. Narcissists take great pleasure in making a world full of more people like them. They are very resentful, envious, and vengeful people, and are the definition of unforgiving. So we have to forgive them. And it is so hard. I know it is. I had to just mantra, I forgive you, Matthew. I forgive you, Matthew. Because he really did a great number. He worked really freaking hard to like take my sexy away. I'll tell you. But it didn't work. And that is the best. First of all, when you're a good person, your enemies destroy themselves. And you see it. It just takes patience.
You put them in that rope, they hang themselves.
Yeah.
You know what my friend was? I had a friend said, "Oh well, man, just get the popcorn and watch a shit show because it's about to happen." And it's so true. And she told me that long before when he first left and this whole thing happened, and I was like, "What?" She was so right.
Yeah.
You just get out the popcorn and watch it happen because it's going to.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm having to heal first before I can get to the forgiveness place.
Of course.
I still love
Why would you want to forgive? Like, what is it?
It's for you. Because
What is
in
it
order
really
to not,
just like
they want to make us them. They want us to not trust people because they don't. They want us to not experience real love because they can't. They want us to not forgive anyone because they're the victim. They want to keep us as the victim. They want us to be a victim. They're a victim. And that is, now we're them. We're a victim. They think they are the victim. They are the victim in their world. And there's nothing we could ever do to them that is worse than what they're doing to themselves. So they won't take responsibility. It's like, you want me to feel guilty about this thing I did to you? Do you know the world of shame and self-hatred I have in here? I'm beating myself up on the regular every day, and you want to add to that? And you want to I've already done it. I've already done all that, the beating myself, punishing myself. Like, how dare you try and punish me? Like, this is how they're thinking. But no, forgiving them is literally not about them. Forgiving them doesn't mean
Like forgiving yourself through
we have to forgive
all the things
yourself.
that you kind of let slide.
But even saying it's okay, it'll be okay. You did these things, they're really wrong what you did, but I know I'm gonna be better. I know I am gonna be better. That's what it's really telling yourself. It's like, we didn't come on this planet not to suffer. That's just the sad truth of it. And people want to avoid the negative experiences and negative emotions because they think that keeps them free. But it doesn't. These people that live in their trauma, they don't have joy, they don't have love, they don't have that experience of true connection with their own goodness or with God's love for them.
Do narcissists ever change?
Of course. I mean, they say it's very difficult because they don't see anything wrong. My ex, I don't think he's going to get changed anytime soon because he's very effective as a narcissist. No, he's going to avoid that borderline core as much as he can because that's the only pathway to healing, is to face it. But with God, all things are possible. And this is a spiritual thing. I know that this demon, he was sent by the devil to kind of reinforce these ideas that my mom told me, who do you think you are, being this happy person? Who do you think you are, being this free person? Who do you think you are, being this successful person? You can't take care of yourself. And this idea that you can be happy and fearless, courageous in your happiness, I'm here to tell you that's a lie. That's what he tried to do. He tried to make a lie out of the goodness in me and my belief that I should be loved. And that's reinforcing what these relationships do. They bring to the front all these kind of hidden parts of ourselves that needs to be cared for and loved. So that's what we're here for today.
How do you like get closure if they never give it to you?
Yeah.
How do you like get it?
Yeah. What do you say?
For me, I had to, there isn't a closure on their part, you have to make the closure.
Right.
One of the first things I did was go no contact. No contact is your closure. Just, that's your closure, it's your job, it's up to you. You get to close.
I mean, what is closure?
Yeah.
What does that really mean to get closure?
There's no away you do that, you give them your power, look at your power.
Their worst nightmare is your well-being and not giving a shit about them. So even though narcissists are predators and exploit our kindness or weakness, it is their belief that they are the victim, and that insulates them from objectively looking at their role in things. If you have ended up with a narcissist, it is because there's healing you need. And so being grateful is where we really want to go. Where it's like, thank you for what you did, because if you hadn't done this, then these other things wouldn't happen. These are some of the people that I think are great resources. Professor Sam Backman on YouTube is great. Richard Granite is another helpful voice, and then this woman being like Target, who's on Instagram. These are, good resources for, because affirmation of your experience. I mean, the gaslight is what you're experiencing is an abuse. You have no right to feel upset about it. I'm a great person. You're crazy, right? Like all these lies. So, I enjoy having these validations. I mean, some of the stuff Sam Backman had said, it was like, I never had the words put in there. And it is so healing to have your experience put to words. So I'm grateful that you ladies came today, and we did a wonderful thing for all women being together in this way.